All right, so my name is Ivan Lee. I'm an associate professor at UMass Amherst, and my research intersects with artificial intelligence and wearable technologies and their applications to particularly stroke rehabilitation. So today I'm going to talk about how wearable technologies for monitoring post-stroke recovery can make a transition from the laboratory setting into the clinic. All right, so this is a quick acknowledgement and disclaimers of the funding sources that have supported the research and thereby the results, some of the results that I'm going to share with you today. So today we're going to talk about wearable-based digital biomarker, and they represent objective and quantifiable measures of biology or health that are collected and measured through digital devices like smartwatches, smartphones, or even ambient sensors that are instrumented in the environment. And we're going to talk about neurological conditions, more specifically stroke, which are the leading causes of disability, not only in the United States, but also worldwide. So as you might be all familiar with, is that stroke sort of evaluation of stroke recovery requires this motor task-based and clinician observation-based assessments such as action research arm test, known as ARET or Fugl-Meyer assessments and Wolf motor function test. However, these are quite not practical to be used in everyday clinical settings because they're time consuming, requires trained clinicians to present, and for the amount of insurance support for the patients, it's very rare to continuously or even frequently administer this on a continuum sort of basis, right? So what we are trying to innovate using wearable technology and artificial intelligence is to move away from this episodic and subjective and in the clinic-based observation in the clinic-based assessments of patient motor recovery, but use wearables to support continuous and objective, accurate, and understand their real world functioning. So our vision is to simply put a single wrist-worn sensor on their stroke-affected limb, and then they just need to go about their daily living. They do not have to engage in any specific motor tasks, and simply they just do what they do in the real-world setting. And our technology is about extracting clinically relevant information that are related to their motor recovery from the data that are captured by the wearable sensor and then quantify their motor recovery. So that our vision is to support a view of patients progress over time in a continuous manner so that over time we can see how they are actually progressing over time. So this allows clinicians to, for example, adjust their therapeutic strategies if they observe, for example, patients plateau, or if patients, for example, improving, then they can continue to work with patients and so on. So we believe this can really support more personalized therapy for clinicians and for patients too. This information could be also provided to patients so that they can really be the owner of their own health and then see how their conditions are progressing over time, which will improve their engagement and motivation to adhere to the therapy that they're provided. So I'm not going to get into too much of a technical and mathematical details of our artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, but these algorithms are trying to analyze patients' everyday movements from there again, extract clinical information, and then try to quantify patients' recovery over time. So I'm going to briefly go over recent findings that we have, which was in collaboration with Shirley Ryan Ability Lab in Chicago, Spalding Rehab Hospital, which is a Harvard Medical School teaching hospital, as well as WashU. The data were collected from 215 individuals, and then we collected about 22,000 hours of accelerometer data while patients are living in the real world setting. This contained not only subacute patients, but also chronic stage patients as well. So we really tried to validate our wearable-based measure of their motor recovery as an outcome measure. So we applied a well-known clinical validation criteria in order to really clinically validate our wearable-based outcome measure. So, for example, we've observed that the retest reliability of our method is very high. I'm sorry. My daughter just came in, and so my dog is not happy with that. I'm sorry about that. Which means that if, for example, if we monitor patients on day one, and then if we want to assess patients on day two, then we expect during patient's condition does not change, we expect that we will observe a similar value in our digital measure, for instance. We also see great agreement between our digital measure with clinically validated measures such as ARAD and Fugl-Meyer. We also observed a known group validity, which that our digital biomarker can differentiate patients versus healthy individuals as well. We also have shown that our digital biomarker is very responsive, meaning that indeed when patients' condition changed over time due to the intervention, our biomarker can actually detect that changes, and we have validated an excellent agreement as well as strong discriminability. Okay. More importantly, sorry about that. Hey, come on. Come. All right. So more importantly, we can measure the errors associated with the biomarker. I'm sorry. Hey, what's up? It's just a delivery man, I think. Apologies again. All right, so we can measure the also the errors associated with each assessment, and we have verified that the wearable-based biomarker provides about 40 to 50% lower errors, measurement errors, compared to the standardized assessments such as ARAD as well as Fugl-Meyer, which means that we are actually providing 40 to 50% more accurate assessments of patients' condition. So all these results are provided in the Med Archive over there, and the paper is currently under review at Nature's Translational Medicine. So again, our vision is that using this patient-generated data, meaning this patient's measure of phenotype, behavioral phenotype, and on top of that, we can also measure measures of patients' behaviors. For example, how intensively do they use the stroke-affected limb, or how long do they actually use their stroke-affected limb during their activities, daily living. So we can measure both the behavioral phenotype as well as patients' behaviors. And using this data, we can obviously relay the information to the cloud so that practitioners can see them on a secure server. And not only that, we want to give the information back to patients so that they can see how well they're progressing. They can see how they actually behave and how much do they actually engage the stroke-affected limb while they're going about their activities of daily living, so that we can continue to motivate them to and then increase their engagement into the practice, clinical practice, so that we actually want to put the patient in the center of the care. So we took this result, and then we also did sort of a qualitative research to really understand how patients can understand and extract clinical insights out of this information. So we use our wearable devices to monitor patients, and then we have visualized different types of visualization and then brought back to patients in their home settings. We try to understand how they can consume their information. We also have similarly interviewed about 25 therapists, try to see how the rich information about patients' performance as well as their phenotype could be used in real-world clinic and then support their clinical practice and so on. And we got quite positive feedback from there as well. So we did some iterations of designed improvements. So we currently have a research prototype in smartphone app as well as a server. So smartphone app is for patients to use. The server is for mainly clinicians to review what patients have done for these different types of the measures that we can create. Based on this extensive research that we have done in the field, we have decided to actually create a spin-off company in order to really scale up the impact that we can make, because within the laboratory setting funded by the national or national funding agencies, the number of for patients that we can really recruit is limited to 200, and make an impact or large scale impact is quite limited. So we are currently looking at building a company based on this RTM, the remote therapeutic monitoring business model, so that for for clinicians who are using our technology, they can get paid, or they can get additional revenues for their time reviewing the digital data, so that our device and our data not only support a improved clinical practice and for patients to really sort of see, understand how their progress is going, but also we create additional revenue opportunities for clinicians, so that adaptation of this technology can be improved. We have done quite a bit of traction right now. So for example, for scientific and technical validation, as I have shown, we have validated our technology in 215 individuals, achieving 40 to 50% higher assessment accuracy. Our study has been funded so far by two different projects via NIH. We have published about 22 peer-reviewed publications in the related topic, and then we do have a research prototype, including a wearable device, a smartphone app, and a web interface, and a secure backend server. In fact, if we go back, this is the wearable device and that we have prototyped so far in our laboratory. We also have a provisional patent filed covering the core algorithm and system innovation. And also we have raised about $125,000 for non-dilutive funding to support our vision. And then we also have a letter of intent from Spalding Rehab Hospital to use our technology once the prototype is ready. Again, we have done our market research with 27 therapists and 24 patients, as well as 3 therapist entrepreneur. But we are currently want to reach out to more therapists and therapist entrepreneur to get feedback about our business model based on RTM, whether that can really be sort of support their additional revenues, and how they can actually help them to achieve the goals and so on. So that was a quick overview of our technology, as well as the startup that we're about to launch. And it's great to sort of interact with you. We're actively, looking for therapists who we can reach out and talk to. So if you're interested in talking to us, please email me at this email address below. And we can also provide some small gifts for your time to help us better understand your needs. So thank you so much.
I unmuted you all, so if you guys have questions or would like to share, if you're interested, if you guys could just speak up, that would be awesome as well.
Did you publish with Catherine Anasdester?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think I helped gather some. This is Kristen. I'm the one with the telehealth startup. We launched it out of Harvard, and I was working with Catherine at one point.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
and I think I helped gather some. This is like wristwatch data from 2019 and 2020, and I helped gather some of that data. That's kind of funny.
Oh,
to see
really?
it. Like, it's cool to see it come around.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the presentation is very good, and it helps explain, the business case and stuff like that. I think a lot of therapists don't have exposure to the technology development side, so it was very approachable and helpful. I think it's something that I see on the clinical end. I have this business, and where therapy margins are so small. Especially right now, we all know, again, in 2026, they're going to reduce our reimbursement again by 2%. So our margins are so tight. And if the therapist has to buy in, like purchase the devices and then they loan them to the patient or something like that, those kind of models are really hard for us. because we, you know, we're barely making it. We're barely making enough money to stay afloat right now. That's kind of like, you know, some people maybe are doing great, but in general, it's really tough on the private practice side right now. It's hard, especially with the government shutdown and this and that. So it's just like we're struggling right now.
Sure.
So just be considering that when you are designing who is going to pay for this device. Are you going to seek a code? Is there a code? Like, you know, is that going to be like the patient reaches out to you and you guys can bill the DME code, or like how is that part going to work? You don't have to have all those answers yet, but like just knowing, I get approached by a lot of companies who are like, yeah, you purchase the subscription and then the patient uses it and then you can bill RTM. But if the patient doesn't engage, then I've paid my monthly fee, but I really can't get a lot of reimbursement, you know? So that's just kind of where I think of is like, who is going to be paying for that access to the device? And I'm excited about this, and I want, you know, been waiting for tools like this to come out. So I'm not saying it to to poke holes. It's more like who is going to pay that amount, because if so many things get put on the clinician to purchase for their patients, like purchase subscription, and then we can bill. That's a really hard model for us because we're already paying for our EMR. We're paying for Zoom accounts. We're paying for insurance. We're paying all these things for our team, and it's really hard to pay another tool.
Right.
But I'd be happy to talk more. I'm interested.
Can I reach out to you after this webinar?
Yeah, I'll put my email in.
Sure, yeah, that would be great.
Well, I guess you already have it. You guys already have it from the emails, but either way.
Okay. Any others? Feel free to speak up. You know, all we want to do is really hear from you and what you think about our approach.
Hey, Ivan, it's Katie Lyles. I'm an OT in Georgia. I'm really interested. This is my first introduction really to RTM, so I'm afraid I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm really intrigued by the concept. And this is an audience or a patient population that I work with a lot. And I really like the idea of being able to customize the treatment to them and also have that really good objective data to back up what I'm doing. So, but yeah, I want to keep learning more. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Maybe we can start with the poll. So we have prepared 6 questions for you to quickly answer. It's actually 4 questions. There are 6, but you will need to answer just 4. So Venus, can you initiate that, or?
Sure. I think some have already answered actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think most people, let's see, so far we've had.
If you click on the polls and quizzes in the bottom dashboard, it would show the details.
So by the way, if you answer yes to number 2, then you will need to only answer question 3 and 4. If you answer no to question 2, then you can move to question 5 and 6. And Kara and Venus, I actually do not see the answers coming in. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, I do. Yeah, actually I do now. Yeah, okay.
Okay. And once everyone's had a chance to answer, once we end poll, then it will kind of pull everything up. Once you guys have answered the poll, could you just put done in the chat? That way we can make sure that everyone's done, then we'll click end.
Kara, where's the poll?
On the bottom of the Zoom bar, there should be a spot that says polls/quizzes.
Why is my Zoom like I don't have that.
Let me see, I think I can I can send you, what is it? It's
Oh,
like,
and
I
if
can
you
send
click
you a
more,
QR code.
yeah, and then you can also click more, then you'll be able to see the poll and quizzes option.
I
So
don't
in the
even
bottom.
have the more, like, this is not my first rodeo with Zoom. I don't have any
Sure.
options for some reason.
Let
I normally
me,
have,
I can send it to you, Christy. So okay, I'll send
Yeah,
you
if
the
you can
QR
send it to
code.
Christy, that'd be great, thanks.
Katie said the poll. Oh, I did the poll when I logged on. Is
Oh,
that the
that's
poll
great.
you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. That is, yeah.
okay. Yeah,
You're over
I'm
there
like,
on top of it, Christy.
I thought there was a second one. I'm sorry. I was like, where is it?
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
I'm
like
good.
7 out of 7 people, so probably most everyone. So I'll click end and then it will populate it here
Mhm.
and it'll share results. There we go. Can you guys all see?
Just so
Yeah.
you know, Ivan, there was some of the poll questions said click all that apply for the questions, but it would only allow us to choose one.
Got it. Okay.
So that might skew some of your results. Like I would have chosen,
Sure.
3 different things, but I chose
Right, right,
whatever meant the most instead.
right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Again, any feedback or any questions?
So it looks
Do you
like
think? Mhm.
65 out of the 8 respondents out of the audience currently uses RTM based on the results. And the rest are thinking about or planning to start.
Mhm.
I was looking, what question is that? Number
Number
2?
2. I think I think
I
it
think
should be not now. It's a no.
I think that's
Oh,
no.
it's
Because I don't
no.
Yeah, that's a no.
I don't
Yeah.
think, is anyone in here using RTM? I think I might be the only one. I couldn't take the poll. I think it's because maybe I'm the host, but
We have dabbled in it, but my practice is almost 100% stroke, or it's stroke and other neuro conditions, and I just have not found an RTM solution that I like for our population because we don't do traditional exercises. We don't, just the ones that are out there like a med bridge or even some of the more stroke focused ones like One Step, just not all of our patients have. I don't know. I just haven't found the right one yet that really works for us. And not all the insurances are paying for RTM. So for the it's kind of like only a subset of who's appropriate for what. So we haven't found one that works for everybody yet.
Mhm.
So based off of that, Kristen, what do you think would be the most valuable things to include in an RTM platform or a service?
Well, I think based on the poll, potentially I'm one of the respondents who said they have a lot of neuro patients in their practice. So for me, a tool like this makes a lot of sense. But when you look at a bigger practice like a Spalding, their stroke department out of all the outpatient is going to be a lot smaller. So you just have to figure out it has to be super easy, super helpful, super inexpensive to set up, super all of those things, such that if it's only a small percentage of the patients that they treat, you'd want to make it like you want the therapist to still want to use it, or the administration to still say yes, we're going to do this, even though it's only 20% of the patients that we're working with. Like, it still has to make sense for everybody. And part of that, I think, one of the biggest things is going to be just the clinician adoption and the typically it's user interface and just complication? Does it add, you know, how difficult is the setup? That kind of stuff really turns therapists off.
Mhm.
That's
Absolutely.
you know, the research that I did in like my thesis says that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So like the simpler, the better. And that's true for stroke patients too. You know, like if a device is very complicated but useful, it's probably not
Right.
going to get used very much. Which I think you're, you know, having something that looks like a usual piece of not clothing, but just like a usual accessory, I guess, that you might
Accessory,
have on,
yeah.
that you'd have on your body. That part
Mhm.
helps a lot. I have a lot of thoughts, but this is probably not like, I don't need to subject everybody to, to,
No,
to
no,
all
no.
of my
Like,
thoughts about this.
no, your inputs are really valuable.
I think I remember at the time when you were doing the research, was it a white and orange wristwatch?
Oh yeah, that's a different one. That's
A
I
different
know what
one.
you're
Okay.
talking about. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I worked at Spalding as a postdoc, and I
Uh-huh.
know
Under
exactly
Paulo
what project
Bonato.
you're referring to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pa
So
Paulo is our mentor, so.
yes, that's good. I remember very specifically with the white and orange watch. I tell this story actually
Mhm.
all the time. So maybe this will be helpful to you too. That I was working with subjects in a different research study, and somebody had that orange and white wristwatch on, and it would buzz telling him, these are clean. It would buzz telling him you need to use your arm again because he hadn't used it
Mhm.
in a while. And so he would just shake his arm around,
Shake it, yeah,
just shake it
yeah,
around until that buzzer went off, and then he was good for a while. And that's what I don't
right.
want for your device. Like, I think you didn't go into all the research because you can't in this format, but it would be important to me as a clinician, if I were going to adopt this into my practice, I would want to know how, you know, is it just observational? Does it prompt them? Are we just
Mhm.
tracking their movement, or are we telling them to do something? Like, can, you know, how do we engage with it as opposed to just like knowing where a wrist is in time, in space and
Mhm.
time can be useful if it gives me information.
Yeah, actually, that's a great comment, and we were well aware of that thing. So
Mhm.
first, we're not giving any buzz or vibration from the sensor itself, but we're sort of passively showing that to the app. So whenever patients want to use the app, we will show the data. Of course, we will just so gently remind them as an alert on their smartphone, but not directly through the sensor. And then our measures are actually sort of bulletproof from that, cheating activities. So that's what we call it. So yes, we have actually made sure that such a behavior does not influence the measures that we are visualizing.
It's great.
Yeah. All right. For example, Helen and Gary and Olga, we haven't heard from you, but if there anything that you would like to share with us, we would be happy to. We would be very happy to hear from you.
This is Helen. I find this so intriguing. Please forgive me. I'm been struggling with technology today, and I'm doing this off my phone, and it's being a little cranky. I echo the comments about simplicity, access,
Mhm.
affordability, and of course, being able to try it before you buy it. And
Mhm.
kudos on the research that you've had published and awards and so forth. That takes years of effort. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Olga, do you have
All right.
anything to add? Christy, do you have anything more to add about the actual tool?
No, I'm exactly what Helen said, echoing those same sentiments, challenges, thoughts.
Mhm.
The maker too, if you have anything, let me know. When is your goal to get everything going so that it can be utilized, or what's your timeline?
Right. So we want to finish the hardware, the actual device development by early next year. And we will have to go through regulation process so that this device can be used for billing purposes. But before then, we also need to collect more data using our sensor too. So we're going to actually go through the data collection process for that. So we're probably looking at maybe in a year or hopefully in not more than 2 years to launch our product.
And then how will you find, or how will you do the data collection? I
Yeah,
mean,
so
are
we
you
have a
looking
letter.
for people to be able to, to trial this, or what are you looking at?
That was
Yeah,
going to
that
be
would be
my
great.
next question.
Mhm.
I'm in New Hampshire, about 45 minutes north of you.
Mhm. It would be great if we can work with you related to that. We currently have a letter of intent from Spalding in Boston, and hopefully we can get. We plan to get some patients through there, but we would love to actually see, find more clinical collaborators so that we can test out our product and stuff. So, Christy, if you can leave us, if you're interested in, if you are willing to leave us contact info, we'll be happy to follow up with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there,
I'm happy to, sorry, Kara, I'm happy to follow up with you, Ivan. Furthermore, I don't know if you're open or interested to other referral connections, but I work with an agency up here called Rehab Without Walls, and they specifically deal with neuro outpatient
Mm,
patients. They're a larger agency, like bigger than me, but they're mobile outpatient. They don't see Medicare patients. They only see commercial insurance patients,
mhm,
but only neuro. So, people that have come out of acute or subacute rehab, post-stroke, post-spinal cord injury, who are still needing therapy at home or in the community, who I think would be, great candidates for
mm.
trialing this kind of thing. So I'm happy to connect you with people over there as well, um, if that would be a worthwhile connection for you.
Yes, absolutely. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
can you leave us with your contact info? You can text us or
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll put it here in the
what we
chat too.
can. Yeah, I mean, yeah, leave it in the chat. That's what I meant.
and I'm sure,
Yeah.
Ivan, we would have quite a few other therapists that would be interested in taking part, in helping with that as well, so.
Yeah, that will be great. That will be great. I'm just making note of that. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, this was really helpful. If others don't have any other comments, I think this could be it. But thank you so much for all of your time and feedback and comments, and especially Kara and Venus for organizing this. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm going to PPS this week and there will be a lot of RTM companies there, so I'll check them
Mhm.
out and see what I can find out on what some of these companies are, any updates they're doing. So, and all the new changes starting January 1st will really impact RTM, so.
Yes, and hopefully the bill will actually pass. Um,
Yep, yep.
all right.
So, awesome. Well, thank you. You guys all have
Thank
a great
you.
rest of your day.
Thank you. And Sarah, I didn't ask you, can we connect after this the webinar? I sent an email about that. Thank you so much.
Yep, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.